Bonjour à toutes et à tous et bienvenue sur Blabla Katie. My name is Katie and today we're going to blabla about how to get a visa for France from the US in 2021 part 2. So if you haven't seen the first part to this, I guess, visa series, you'll definitely want to check out that video first. Obviously, I have a specific situation, so this is probably going to be most helpful for anybody who's an American trying to get a long stay visa in France. And even more specifically, if you're going to be a lecteur d'anglais, that is exactly the visa process that I'm going through now, and that I hopefully in a month or so will be able to say that I successfully got through. We will see. Before we get into it, I do want to talk about my most recent video that I did just this past Wednesday, and it was on the one company I wish that I'd known about when I was moving to France back in 2017. So in that video, I gave you a promo code if you wanted to buy any of the services that this company provides. And I said that we were going to be doing a joint Q&A specifically from the lens of an American having moved to France to study and to teach, and now to teach again. So for the Q&A, I am the American that you would be talking to. But anyway, if you're interested in using my promo code, we realized that there was a technical issue with it. So their team is working on that right now, and we're really hoping it'll be up and running by next week. I will keep you updated on that in both the description box and the comments of this video and the last video that I published. I will also be posting a video on TikTok to update people, so definitely follow me there if you haven't already. We've also decided to postpone the Q&A, so that is also something I will keep you updated on. Now let's talk about the visa. To pick up where we left off, which was almost a month ago, I'd signed the contract that had been sent to me by my university's HR. I sent it back to them in the same day. This was towards the end of June. I was told that the contract was in the process of being signed by whoever needed to sign it at the university, and I would get it back as soon as possible. I also had been able to reschedule my VFS appointment to August 6th, with the knowledge that I likely wasn't going to have everything that I needed by August 6th. So essentially, I was right. It is currently July 30th, and I am not prepared for the visa appointment. Kind of out of my control, which we'll get to, but it is what it is. In the last video, I was talking about the documents that I was going to bring, and I was using that sheet that was on the last page of the France visa application form, and it told me everything that I needed to bring to the appointment. So on that list, the very last thing it said was to bring the work authorization that I could only get from my university. At the time of filming that video, I didn't exactly know what that was. I did in my mind, I think, separate the contract from this work authorization. But in the interim, so during this past month, I realized that I was kind of hoping that the contract itself would be the work authorization that the VFS Center needs in order to process my visa. You can probably already tell by the tone of my voice, but the contract is not the same thing as the work authorization. So before I tell you more about the timeline, I just want to clarify that the work authorization, this is the document that your university will receive once they file for your visa on your behalf to French immigration. This is a process that you have no hand in. You really can't do anything about it. So all the documents that I had previously sent to my university with all of my signatures and all of my information, they then use that to file for me. But now it's just in the hands of French immigration, and it is not the same thing as the contract. So with that out of the way, let's get into the timeline. Literally nothing happened. There was no communication, nothing. I was just waiting until July 19th when I realized that the VFS centers had opened a ton of new appointments. There was kind of a little issue where they opened a bunch of appointments before July 19th, but then when you would choose the specific visa type, they would say that these appointments were not available for the visa type that I need. That was a little frustrating, but eventually they did open slots that I was allowed to reschedule to. So I ended up doing that for August 13th. Okay, so as of now, my visa appointment is on August 13th. Then on July 22nd, I got an email from my university's HR from one specific person who said that they were sort of taking over my contract case. So when I got that email, I was thinking, oh great, I'll probably be getting my contract today, within the next few days, and this was a Thursday. I then go to check my WhatsApp, and I realize in the group chat where it's my language coordinator and all of the other lecteurs and lectrices at the university, we got a message from the language coordinator saying that we should have already received our contract, or we were supposed to receive it that day on Thursday the 22nd, but that if we didn't receive it on Thursday the 22nd, then we would absolutely need to receive it the next day on Friday the 23rd. Now you may be wondering, well, why do you have to get it on the 22nd and the 23rd? Like, why is that such an urgent thing? And the reason why is because the university's HR department, and honestly, maybe the whole university, I'm not really sure, goes on vacation from the end of the workday on July 23rd until August 23rd. And I don't know if you've ever dealt with French administration before, but People don't answer their emails if they are not at work. French workers are actually protected. They have the right to not answer their emails when the workday is over and on the weekends and things like that. And in principle and in practice, I think this is great. However, to find out the day before they are all going on vacation for a month and knowing that you don't yet have your contract or technically permission to go book your appointment, and your appointment is what day? August 13th? In the middle of their vacation? You get a little nervous. So then, to kick up the nerves a notch, I found out that another lecteur, who's the only other American, so we really are very much, I wouldn't say in the same exact boat, but we're definitely in a similar boat. I found out from her that not only did she get her contract back that day, but she also got another document called a convention d'accueil. I had nothing. So I started getting really, really nervous, and what I wrote in my timeline in caps locks is panic. July 23rd rolls around, so it's the next day, and I'm just thinking, okay, I already have a 6-hour time difference. By the time I wake up, it's usually like noon or 1 o'clock in France already, nearing the end of the workday. Who knows if these people are gonna check their emails? Who knows if they're gonna leave early from work to start their vacation? I just don't know. Je sais pas, okay? So as soon as I wake up, I look at my email, nothing. So I emailed the same contact person in my HR, and luckily he got back to me pretty quickly, like within an hour, and told me that he actually thought that I had already been sent my contract, and then he attached it in the email. So at this point, I'm just happy that I got my contract. I check it, it's signed, it's stamped. I have my document. Amazing. So I was so happy to get the contract that I actually had completely forgotten to ask about the convention d'accueil, because I'm thinking, I have no idea what that document is, but the other American lectrice got this document and I didn't, and what if this is the work authorization? So at this point, I'm thinking the convention d'accueil is the work authorization. Spoiler alert, it is not, but that's what I'm thinking at this time. So maybe an hour or so later, I end up emailing this person back, and I CC my language coordinator because I'm just like, oh my God, I need this document. You're going on break. This is my last chance. It's just complete panic at this point. And I know it's kind of later in the workday, so I have very low hopes that this person will respond. Sure enough, they do not. But my language coordinator did get back to me on, so on the same day, my language coordinator did get back to me, and he said he actually had never heard of the convention d'accueil, but he would look into it. So I knew that there was at least one person who was aware that I didn't have a document that I may have needed, but it also was at that point the end of the workday in France, and vacation had begun. So I kind of take the weekend to myself. You know, I'm going back and forth between panicking, not panicking, saying it's gonna be fine, feeling like it's not gonna be fine, until finally on Sunday afternoon, so it's July 25th, I decide that I'm going to send a panicked email to every HR email or person that I can find at my university. So I did that. I sent an email where I explained that I already have an appointment in mid-August, in the middle of the break, and I have the contract, but I don't have the work authorization. Now remember, at this point, I'm thinking that the work authorization is the convention d'accueil. And to add a bit of stress on top of that, at the point of me sending that message, there were no more VFS center appointments beyond August 13th. So I also feared that by the time August 13th rolled around, I wouldn't have even had the chance to reschedule. So yeah, I put all this in the email and I sent it to literally everyone that I could find. So while I'm thinking that nobody's gonna open their email or get back to me anytime soon, I actually woke up the next morning to 2 different emails from my language coordinator. In the first email, he explained to me that I actually didn't need a convention d'accueil, but if you're already enrolled in a university, in a grad program, for example, and your university has an exchange with the university that you're going to be working at in France, then that's when you would need a convention d'accueil. I personally was recruited independently, so that means that I'm not doing an exchange program between the 2 universities, and that's why I don't need the convention d'accueil. So that was really good news, because I thought, oh yay, okay, I don't need that document, but it was also kind of bad news, because then I realized, okay, so that's not the work authorization. When I opened the second email from the language coordinator, this also kind of clarified things, but he confirmed that all of my documents and all of my information had been sent to French immigration. So essentially the HR at my university had applied for the work authorization for me, and I don't know when this was, because I never actually got a confirmation email when everything had been sent. But at this point, everybody's kind of a sitting duck. So I don't know if at this point French immigration itself is also on vacation, but even if it's not, even if they send the work authorization through, nobody's gonna see it till after August 23rd, at the earliest. So, yeah. The only thing that I can really do is look to try to push back my appointment, but what's kind of hard is I don't know how far back I'm supposed to push it. There's no guarantee that when the employees come back on the 23rd that they're going to see my work authorization. There's no guarantee they're going to send it to me immediately. It's just, you know, it's a lot. And it's funny because I'm looking at the date right now. It is July 30th, and it is so hard for me to believe that all of those emails happened literally earlier this week. It feels like so much time has passed. So much stress has been felt. But yeah, so one of the things that I wanted to address as an open-ended question is the whole work authorization thing. So I think I've made it clear that the contract is not the same thing as the work authorization. Only the university can give you the work authorization, and they can only give it to you once they get it from French immigration. I have heard of some people on the Facebook group for the lecteurs and lectrices who have received a different document called a promesse d'embauche. I have no idea what that looks like. I don't really know what's on it, but I think that it is an official document that says they have applied for the work authorization and are just waiting for it. I was not provided with one. But some people are going to try to go to their VFS center appointments with just the promesse d'embauche and all of the other documents, obviously, and see what happens. Some other people I know are just going to go with the contract and see what happens. I still don't really know what I'm gonna do, but we'll figure it out. The second thing that I wanted to mention is that in the last video, I was talking about how the VFS center, or at least the VFS hotline that I had called, which, by the way, the last time I checked, all of the hotlines for VFS are closed now because of COVID. So I think the only way that you can communicate with them is by email. But anyway, the last time that I was able to talk to them on the phone, they did confirm, yes, you do need insurance and you need to show proof of it at your appointment for the length of your stay in France. But honestly, from what I've been reading in, again, the Facebook group, the insurance hasn't been required. And I don't know if that's true for every single visa type or if that's just because for our specific job, we will have insurance in France. But I did also want to clear that up. I'm not saying that if you go to your appointment, it is 100% guaranteed they're not going to ask for their insurance. But based off of what everybody else is saying from their personal experience this past year, nobody's asked for it. So take that information and do with it what you will. I think that is everything that I wanted to talk about with the current visa process, the updates. I guess I'll check back in probably within a month's time. Hopefully by that time I will have the visa and be on my way to France, but you know, I have no idea. I don't know. So if you have any questions about what I just talked about or about the visa process in general, obviously feel free to put them in the comments down below. If you got any value out of this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. À la prochaine!